Eggs,
Bacon and toast. Eggs, bacon and toast. Why don't you start your day the farmhouse way with eggs, bacon and toast?
Teachers, so if you did not recognize that, that was from Parks and Recreation, the episode where Leslie Knope goes to visit Gary Gergich at home in the morning and discovers that this is the song that he and his family sing every morning to start their breakfast, which I actually kind of loved a lot. So a few quick facts before we get into the thick of it. Number one, I play D, F sharp, and A as my boom whackers. You can choose any major chord you want. It's just going to be the diatonic chord of whatever key you decide to sing it in. It starts on me. And then lastly, all of the assessments and the iconic notation that I'm going to be talking about in the rest of the video are linked down below in the description. I believe that's it, so let's get going. So, I do this song kind of towards the start of the year for a couple reasons. First of all, the boom whacker is really easy to play with. It is just one boom whacker per student, and all they have to do is hit it once when I signal and then wait for my next signal. So it's really easy. It also might be a good way to start working on that kind of controlling ourselves around our instruments if we're brand new to playing instruments. And then also for students that maybe aren't quite comfortable singing yet, this is a great way to still be involved in making music with our voice without having to be in that uncomfortable zone right off the bat. So that's why I do this close to the beginning of the school year. So I teach quarter and eighth notes with this song. It looks kind of like this. I start by doing a repeat after me. Eggs, eggs, bacon, eggs. Eggs, eggs, bacon, eggs. And I just do 4-beat patterns, changing it up, making sure to differentiate between where I place quarter notes and where I place eighth notes in my body to help our kinesthetic learners feel that difference and establish that difference earlier on. After they're pretty successful with doing the repeat after me, I move on to having us read iconic notation. I do it just like this, where I have 4 slices of toast and I say, all right, our toast are our beats, and as you know, our beats keep going along, and then we just add our rhythm on top to make it a little extra delicious. Also a great way to explain beat versus rhythm. And then I switch around, have them read it. Once we're pretty successful at this, and obviously, you know, gauge how your class is doing, whether maybe you need to go back and teach a couple things, etc. But once we think we are ready to move on from that, I then move on to something that looks like this. I tape these 2 pieces of toast paper together so that they have 4 giant slices of toast, and then they get to choose on each slice of toast whether they're going to put bacon or eggs. Obviously, then you have them composing with iconic notation, and then if they're subsequently able to read it, then they're able to read with iconic notation. You could even argue if your state is one where you have to show that they're revising their own work after hearing it performed. Right, this might be a really good way to get that standard clicked in. Obviously, if I was going to use this as an assessment over just an activity, I'd probably do it closer to the end of quarter and eighth notes. I wouldn't do it as an introduction. As far as differentiation goes, this lesson has a lot of opportunities. Some pretty obvious ones are, if you have a student that's more advanced, it would be a great opportunity to let them create some rhythms for their classmates to repeat. Additionally, if you have the capability to be able to manipulate things on a board, it'd be great to have students practice composing 4-beat patterns that their classmates can then read, which obviously would also keep students engaged a little bit longer, so you can do the practice reading a little bit longer before you lose them. If you got students that really struggle with keeping on 4 beats, you could always just give them only 2 eggs and 2 pairs of bacon. That way they don't have to count out and try to decide on that. Just kind of a bonus, sometimes when I first introduce this song, I'll introduce it closer to the end of class, and what I'll do is I'll teach a lesson before that, and I'll tell my students, hey, today we're going to play a game, and I want you to watch Mr. K, and every time he taps his head, you're going to yell the word toast. And obviously that's a great way to keep their attention for however long you need them to, and they're ready then when we sing our song and we get to eggs, bacon, and they're ready for that already as well. Doing it that way also makes it great because it gets them used to the idea of watching a conductor early on. As far as cross-curricular activities, you know, this would be a great thing to do with a health teacher to talk about a healthy breakfast, why breakfast is important. You could do this with a science teacher if they're doing an agriculture or livestock unit. If you've got a home ec program at your school, this is also a great one to do very early in the year. It's a very easy dish to cook that we're singing about. So just a lot of opportunities with this lesson. Alright, I think that's about it. I absolutely love this lesson. I think it's so versatile. I use it with literally all of my kids, and they all love it. They think it's so much fun. So I hope you learned something. If you end up using this lesson, let me know how it goes in the comments below. And remember, it's always a great day to make some music. Bye.